single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one's joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one, each one joined and united in the one. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Ehad Yahid Umi Yuhad. The one. every single one. Each one joined and united in the one. The one, every single one. Each one joined and united in the one. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Everyone, the one, every single one. Each one joined and united in the one. And then we'll just say it 4 more times. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Echad Yahid Umi Yuhad. Okay, well, looking at another card today. Well, I'll have 2 of them up. So, universal mind, holy omniscience. Some people were talking last time about love, and I wanted to mention that this is a very universal mind doesn't have that the kind of juice that we think of as love in it. So this is a card, this is a concept connected to the Enneatype 5, which is the thinker. So if I'm not talking a lot about love, it's not by accident. It's because this particular concept, it's more about the diversity and the unity in holding them both than it is about
loving them both.
Loving them both. I mean, that there is a sense of that love is really important, and we'll get to that. But this is particularly about this ability to see the boundaries, the separateness, and the differentiation, all as part of the whole. And so what you could say is that universal mind sees that there's boundaries here, and the boundaries in fact are considered to be made through the universal mind, through God's mind, through this sense of the divine creating the world at every moment, both within our own eyes and within the larger eyes of the world. So as it's creating this, it's creating these real boundaries that it's like our hands are definitely not totally infused with air, just like our feet are not infused with the soil or the ground that we're standing on. And yet, these boundaries are creating outlines of this wonderful experience of what it is to be in the world, of the textures, of the colors, of the tastes, of the movements, forms, everything you see. If you look at it, it has all these differentiations on it. Even your own hand and the lines across your palm. Everything is differentiated. It is very specific to the substance that you're looking at. And so there's this amazing diversity that exists. But what happens is our mind gets caught that this diversity means we're separate. And separation can be the kind of separation of feeling like there's no support, like we've talked about, and that things are, that we don't belong. Or separation can feel like a difference. And a difference doesn't have to be compared. So when we see a difference and recognize it within unity, so if we can recognize for a moment, imagine our hand as existing within the larger universe. Or I like this picture of this person who is all these textures and all these colors, and that person in that picture to the right exists within the larger universe, and yet is separate and different, has something around the texturizing of that person, the colors, the way that the form exists is different than the whole, just as the waves around him are different than the whole. And so if you can imagine that there's something separate about him, and yet there's also something very part of the unity. When that happens, we are in the understanding of universal mind or holy omniscience.
So to a certain extent, your left mode processing is going to notice all the distinctions and differences, all the boundaries, and the right mode processing, when it's really there, it just is in that universal cosmic oneness. So we're really bringing the marriage of soul and Luna, of these two consciousnesses together. What you said is not that there are boundaries, it's when especially the judging mind comes in and says, this is good, this is better, this is worse, that's what creates the problem that doesn't allow us to experience, like you can watch the snowstorm, and there's the unity of this beautiful storm and the whiteness of all the unique individual snowflakes which make up. So it's almost very hard to imagine, and the thinking mind really can't do it, both of those at the same time. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was just reading in the Shiva Sutras this morning, there was a little thing, I should have brought it in, that, there's that samadhi where you sit in the absolute oneness, but then there's this also thing with these 4 vows and actions of Shiva, but there's really enjoying the diversity and just living with joy and bliss in the diversity that exists in that unity too. That's such a thing of our existence also, and that's all these movements of Shiva, of consciousness, of energy. And this is from our friend on the left, Paul Rucker, and it's that eyes, and there's so many different awarenesses, that insect eyes we talked about last time, seeing out all the composites and putting it together, and there's such fire and energy in that being. But this is really a mind point, so we really looked at, back to the Enneagram again.
Yeah, and that when you can actually see that the separateness of each, the individual texture and the colors, and it's within the whole. When that happens, it's called true individuation. Rather than, you could say, the way ourselves inside, those little ones that are protecting us, try to individuate by saying, well, what she said I don't quite like, or what's going on over there isn't good, or it is better than me. All those pieces where we're constantly kind of bouncing off of the world around us. And 2 people shared so beautifully last time, and I so appreciate it, about how that just happens all the time. We go, the head's constantly in telling us how the world should be different.
And then we have the 3 in the desire, the aversion, and the ignorance. The desire, there's the boundary, something different, so I want it, or I want to push it away, versus, oh, it's just here.
Yes, this is what's happening right now, and there's a part inside that wants to see that as not part of the whole.
And that's the normal active of a nervous system that's trying
normal.
to survive.
So how do we work with this? And so that's what we're gonna do today in the induction, and then we're gonna go into the soul work after that. And just remember, the induction is the soul work. It's just a form of active imagination with standing up and being engaged with the body. So let's see, we're gonna stop this share, come back, and just letting yourself, if you can, stand, finding your feet on the floor, and we're going to connect again with the elements, but we're going to connect with them in terms of like really understanding how are we How do we let ourselves become a part of the elements? So that's the unification of it. And how are we different than them? And how do we keep ourselves actually apart from them? So breathing in and out of the nose. Just become familiar with the earth breath and the drum. Our friend, that drum in the background, you can consider that drum as you're breathing in and out. The remembrance of unity. That piece in the background that is both separate and different, that is distinct, has its own sound, and yet at the same time, it's part of this universal heartbeat that we all have in our own bodies, in our own beings. So as you breathe in and out, I'd like you to now imagine that on the inhale, you're going to really concentrate that earth energy and feel the way it can contract in the muscles and the way your bones can help you to move with each different body part. So on the inhale, we're going to contract and really feel the muscles in our right leg on the next inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to let it go back into the earth. We're going to keep doing that with the left now. Doing them both together. Really feel that concentration of the earth energy. And then just giving it back to earth. That concentration is your particular way, your form, going back and forth, right? Relaxing. Left. Relaxing into the earth. And your both legs. Into your hips. Letting your hips contract. You can push them back. And then letting them just go into the earth. A couple more times. Letting that contracting muscles come all the way up into your belly and your solar plexus. And giving it back to the earth. And letting that belly come all the way up into contracting your whole torso. All the organs inside. One more contracting of the whole torso. And contracting of your shoulders and your arms and your hands. And letting them go back to the earth. One more time in the shoulders and arms and hands. Your neck and your head contracting. Feeling that energy of the earth and then letting go into the earth. Neck and head. Now the whole body. And letting go into the earth. Whole body, a couple more times. One more time. The and just breathing the earth breath with the drum in the background, and begin to become aware of where in your body, what's holding on in the sense of not being able to be let go into the earth, to have its own expression, but then to let go. What's still holding on? What parts of us want to be in control? Maybe it's up in our minds, maybe it's in our solar plexus. And see if we can go to a part, even if it's not up right now, when you remember, that likes to take control. And just putting your hands on that area of your body, as though you are just allowing it to be there, but at the same time recognizing how it keeps continuing with this drum beat. Let the drum beat merge with the earth, with your breath, with the part that really wants to be different, letting it want to be different, letting it feel contracted or holding on, even while you breathe and know you're part of the unity. And then letting go of that concentration and becoming aware of the liquidity of your body, how it's connected to water. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. The drum is still in the background. It's reminding us of that constancy, the unity, even in this flow. And we're going to begin to feel the flow of how each parts of our body again flow in its own unique way, and then what happens when we bring it into the watery element, imagining we're part of the ocean or the river on the exhale. So with each inhale, we're going to make our own flow with our right leg. And then with the exhale, we're going to come back into the river. Letting it flow. See how it flows with the river. The left leg, our own. Then letting it flow more wildly with the river, with the ocean. Both legs. Up into our hips. Again with the hips. Let the rivers of life, our own blood, take us. And then coming up into our solar plexus and our bellies, and really letting our bellies flow and all of the intestines inside, the blood in there. Feeling that on the inhale, and then flowing with the river again. The larger river of life, the oceans. And we'll do that one more time. And coming up into our upper torso, our heart, and upper chest area, and letting that flow in its own particular way. And then letting it flow on that exhale with the greater ocean. And again. And feeling our shoulders, our hands, our arms, letting them have their own particular flow to them. And then letting it flow with the greater ocean, the river. So you might be noticing on that exhale, we're really letting go into the unity. Then again with the arms. And then the neck and the head. Again with our neck and heads. With our whole body, finding that our own personalized flow with our blood, with the way we are, with that inhale, and then letting go into the exhale, into the flow. And just doing this a couple more times and noticing if there's parts of our body that don't want to really flow, that feel separate from it, but not in a way of being individuated, but want to stop. Notice if there's maybe feelings coming up as you continue to just let yourself breathe the water breath that we don't want to flow with, that we kind of keep hidden, or that we let flow all the time and we never really let ourselves go and just hold them. That instead feels separate, apart, no support. So just really feeling that flow in your own body. Where do you get caught into not feeling that connection with the whole? Maybe your neck, you find a lot of stuff that just doesn't want to really, you don't want to speak it, say it. So go to that part of your body that you're feeling that it can get all crunched up, doesn't want to go with the flow, holds back, rigid. And hold that area. Breathing into it, feeling the drum beat, connecting us to the whole, letting that part know that we're here, but it doesn't have to change. We don't have to do anything different. It's all part of the whole. One more big breath. And letting it flow out. Everything finish up with the water breath. And coming to the fire breath, in through the mouth, out through the nose. With this breath, we get to feel our connection to the aliveness, to the energy in the universe, right? And so for each inhale, we're going to feel the particularization of our energy in different parts of our body and how we might feel it as shaking or as vibration in some form. Maybe we feel it as a movement, but we're going to feel that energy in the body in different parts, and then we're going to align with this larger energy, this huge nervous system of the whole universe on the exhale. So we'll start with our legs. We're going to bring breathe in our legs and our hips together and feel that energy in our legs and hips. Letting it radiate into the whole on that exhale, but feeling the differentiation of how your legs and hips want to bring in that energy, feel that energy, have that aliveness. Bringing it up into the belly and the whole torso underneath the heart. And in the area above your heart and at your heart, all the way up to your shoulders. Upper torso, upper back. Feel it into your whole arms, your hands. Letting it really expand out with the energy all around you.
Finding your count, but making sure your inhalations and exhalations are rich deep and full.
Yes.
So it's a 4 beat in and a 4 out or 6. Especially with fire, charging with that rich, full inhalation.
Letting it go all the way, yes, up into your neck and your head. Let your whole body be charged with this aliveness. Feel what it feels like. Really breathing it in. And then expanding out into the whole universe of the energy all around you. Feeling the beat behind us. Constantly remind us we're part of this one. Beat inside with our own hearts. And begin to notice what areas inside of us don't want to receive this energy or let ourselves really expand out into that bigness of the energy. Is it in our bellies where we feel the anger, and the anger contracts? Even though it's a part of this energy, it'll tend to pull us in or make us lash out, but it's not feeling that energy. So hold on to any area of your body that doesn't want to shake, that doesn't want to let in the vibration of the universe, the aliveness, and then expand out into it. Hold those parts as you breathe. Maybe it's the fear. Maybe it's lodged in your belly. Feel that fear. Let that fear be there even as you breathe in the fire breath, feeling how it's connected to the whole. It can never be any other way. It's a unique way of expressing oneself.
words, your mind has to keep thinking. It can't just be energy.
We're going to get to the mind soon. So letting the fire breath finish up. And coming into the awareness of air all around us, inside of us, everywhere. Breathing in and out through the mouth. And with this air, really just letting yourself feel how the air comes in to all of our body. Let's feel all of our body below our heads and just like let that air in on the inhale. And then open to the openness of air on the exhale. Become that holiness, letting all of the space and distance between each cell open into a vastness of space that we have, that we can connect with each breath, each exhale. On the inhale, we feel our own airiness. And then on the exhale, we let go into the bigger airiness, the openness of space. See what this feels like throughout the whole body except for the head. And then letting yourself go to the head. Let the head be filled with that airiness on the inhale, expanding out into the universal mind, that space of the largeness of everything that exists on the exhale. Becoming aware of that your thinking is all part of the whole. You just don't have to believe it. You don't have to catch it. You don't have to make it be real. None of these. So you just allow the thinking, notice it. Breathing into it, letting it be there. It's part of the whole. But you keep coming back to that openness. And any parts inside that don't want to be part of the openness, that vulnerability of being holy, H-O-L-E. You can hold that part as you let yourself go into this air breath. Hearing the drum in the background. Remembering we're all part of this larger expanse. And letting the air breath gently begin to let go. Hearing the drum just a little bit in the background as we come to that place of feeling potentially all the elements inside. And maybe there's also maybe ways that we can feel right now how we don't believe we're really a part of them. And that's okay too. But we hold that along with the unity, the remembrance of our diversity, our differentiation, our peculiarity and particularization alongside. unity. As we let the breath and the drum, our own heartbeat, carry us to our seat.
Just imagine your breath, feel your breath flowing in and out of the sacred space of your heart. Imagine your chest soft and porous, whether you see or feel or just have the intention, but experience your chest soft and porous, your breath flowing in and out of the sacred space of your heart. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Feel that current flowing in, the ocean flowing into the drop of you, your unique form, as you inhale, and as you exhale, just dissolving back into the vast ocean. Just listening to the invocation or an invocation as we do that. Toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty. The only being, united with all the illuminated souls, who form the embodiment of the master, the sense of mastery, the message, the unique message that comes through you that each of us is, the mystery. Relax into the mystery of the universe, the miracle that this consciousness comes into our forms, and the mother, the way we can gently hold, accept, nurture, and bring compassion to everything. Now you may just want to continue breathing in and out of your heart using my voice as a guide. When you're ready, you can have the intention to open to the garden of the heart, to the sacred space of your heart. However you experience that today, whether you see or feel or hear. And as you breathe in, just experience whether there's a beautiful flower garden or trees, experience all the differences in the sacred space, the garden of your heart, or perhaps just feeling in your heart different currents and flows of energy. But as you inhale, for the next few breaths, really experiencing all the uniqueness and the diversity, whether it's subtle currents of energy in your heart center, in your heart, or whether you actually see the garden of the heart and then there's smells and tastes and touches and warmth and textures and sights. Whenever you do that, just noticing all the differentiation within the sacred space, the garden of your heart. And then as you exhale, just feel that opening to this is the sacred space of the heart. So you feel the diversity within this sacred space of your heart, whether it's a garden or a felt energy. Just experiencing that diversity of the currents of energy within the whole of that space, or the diversity of all the different aspects of the garden, but it's one whole garden. And if there are any parts that come in that judge or have opinions about how you're doing in that, that's part of it all too. You can just say, oh, there's the mental judge in the sacred space of the heart. You can just allow that. Because it's fine to have the distinctions, the differences, all the different parts. We can't really stop the judgments. But that's what makes the boundaries more than they are. But we can just recognize, oh, there's the judging mind. There's the judge. Wow, another piece. bringing this quality of recognition, of non-judgmental awareness. And then as you're ready, you can stay with that, or you could move on, and with all love and respect, when you're ready, calling upon High Self to come in to the garden of your heart for a time of communion, a time of guidance, a time of dialogue. With whatever way that happens, whether it happens as an image or a felt sense or just that intention. And just noticing all the different nuances and aspects as you commune with High Self. On one level, there are two beings being together. As you inhale. And as you exhale, just dissolving into the communion. It's almost like as you inhale, you lean back. And as you exhale, you two come together and just join. You might even allow that little motion in your body as you inhale, leaning back, moving. So you're there, you're separate from High Self, you're in relationship. Then as you exhale, just leaning forward, just dissolving into High Self. You may notice there may be some cells that like leaning back better or like dissolving more. That's fine. You can just notice that tapestry inside. And if there are even some parts that say, well, it's better to be separate or it's better to be merged, like, okay, well, there's that one too. So you continue to lean back and lean into. Just feeling both. Holding both. There's a larger mystery that's both of these at the same time. And if you notice getting lost in thoughts or feelings or apart, you can come back, and that's part of the tapestry too. That's part of the diversity within the unity. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. You're the center, this place of pure awareness. And you're also the diversity of everything that arises. It's like you can be the sky noticing the clouds, all the diversity. You can be the sky noticing the unity, or you can open to both. Relaxing into the sky and the clouds. As you do that, just notice all the clouds are all the different thoughts or feelings or sensations of all the different selves and parts. Just really welcoming, just enjoying feeling all the different diversity, the poles, and the sky, the unity that they're all made out of, and they're all in. And the heart center brings it more compassion and acceptance. But the mind that Yaya spoke about earlier just brings this curiosity to just experience and recognize the unity of my being, the symphony of all the cells that make up the whole of me. Like with any piece of music, I can listen to the whole, or I can listen to all the unique pieces. Right now, listening to the whole of your being and all the unique pieces of all the different cells, their pulls and talks and likes and dislikes. It's like, that's making up the symphony of you right now. And again, if there are parts that judge or say, I can do it, I can't do it, well, that's great. That's just part of all this thing, too. No big deal. Maybe feel a gentle hum of energy, the unity, and you can feel subtle tensions in your body, aspects of the diversity. Just opening to both, being both. You are both. As we move from intrapsychic to interpersonal, you can imagine all of us together. There's an energy, a spaciousness, a fluidity, a sky that we're all part of, that we're all creating together, this Buddha field, this field of awareness. We're all creating, we're all bathing in it. And yet we're all unique and distinct within it. And we each have our unique, distinct parts also. So just opening to the energy that we're all here together, each unique and diverse, with this diversity inside, and yet we're all forming a whole right now, too. It's like a koan. You just stay with it, the parts that don't can't get their mind around it, the thinking mind can't quite get around it, but it's a part of it. That's fine. Just let the koan be there. Unity and diversity at the same time. Just inviting all the selves and all of us to enter into the breath of unity. And all those who may watch this, if there's anyone in this class who's not here through space and time at a different point in space and time, just imagine we're all breathing together, our separate breaths joining as one breath together. They're separate and yet one. Every single one, each one joined and united in the one. And just stay with that for another minute. And then as we're ready, we'll take a deep breath. We'll bow down through to the inner life. Come up, bowing to the outer life. Again, holding our inner and outer lives at the same time. And then just take a moment, like a dream, like a waking dream that so work is, to reflect on your journey. If there's anything you want to jot or note or write down or move or stretch, really allowing yourself to do that. And when you're ready, we'd love to hear about all your dreams, your waking dreams. And what's arising as we contemplate the koan of unity and diversity. I remembered a koan that I did at the koan study. One of the Zen monks asked the other one, what is universal samadhi, awareness awakening, the unity? And he says, food in the bowl and water in the bucket. It's the answer. What is every atom samadhi? Hmm. Part of our Unity University, the train's coming by, so we just changed it to off of musicians mode. So you might not hear it, but we will. Oh, and Mick and Maria Rahima say hello. They're on their anniversary week or something.
New Orleans, and then Sue's on the road to Sacramento with her husband, who's just gotten through stem cell treatment, and he has another appointment today. So.
And Mary Clark is working.
She's working. Yes.
Was here a little bit at the beginning.
Ah.
Yeah. You can soften your gaze and see the unity and the diversity of all of us together here on our Zoom. It's like get back to the insect eye again.
I love the back and forth. That's what I've been really noticing, that sense of like being able to touch into the whatever it is that's arising inside for me. And then it's like I see it as like this, my head opens up, and then it's like I'm in the the larger universe as well. So, but it's like this toggling back and forth. It's like this sense of sometimes they merge, but sometimes they're just in that place of like toggling back and forth.
Hard enough to be in one or the other, but both is like really something to point towards.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there's a funny thing about this accepting of all the parts. When we come at this different days in different ways, I had an allergic reaction to a food last night. So little bumps all over my body, itchy and hot and everything. And this morning, there's a little bit of that left. So I had this incorporating in your meditation, this feeling of, okay, accepting all the parts, even the parts that are rejecting things and acting like resisting and trying to detox. And, sometimes we're just focusing on calmness, and sometimes it's like, okay, that too is part of the whole. And yeah, it's a new perspective.
Yeah, and we can see how the body self on a certain level didn't like that aspect of the whole because it was uncomfortable and all the parts are trying to fix it and that. And yet step back and realize that's part of the whole of the tapestry of your life yesterday and today. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Universal mind is like, well, that was an amazing experience. And some parts are like, that was awful.
So of course it made me think of other things that I might reject or resist or, be irritated by. So there's lots of metaphors there.
And I like the stepping back to even like, oh, the parts that resist and don't like it, they're part of it too.
And you could say that the part who is resisting and irritated is also the part that's breaking out in hives. Like that's the little bumps, because that's
Sorry.
So it's coming out through. It's a beautiful, like I always just think sometimes the body's just showing what goes on inside. It's just it's a metaphor, it's a symbol, just like dreams are for what's taking place.
Even if food was eaten and that caused it physically, it still can be a metaphor also.
Yeah. Like I have this stuff in my throat, which is a different kind of allergy than I've had before. So it's like really interesting. There's like this stuff that gets caught in my throat. So I'm suspecting that there's more to be understood about that.
Hmm. Michael, you
Michael.
look ready to share.
He's trying to unmute.
Yeah. Oh, first image I got was a big boil on this redwood tree that I visited this weekend. Trying to integrate the stuff from this weekend. I was asked to be a helper, and I found myself in freeze. and and I'm usually really aware of everybody around me, but this is very interesting. And my I had the realization my father was in Korea, and everybody died except for him and five guys, and he must have went into freeze. And this is what I'm healing. So the parts of me that were judge and critic were coming up like, whoa, big time. Like, why can't you do this and why can't you do that? But I was like in freeze, right? So I'm talking to a judge and critic and like, okay. Then I'm visualizing the sergeant like yelling at him, get out of it, get out of it. He didn't get out of it for 6 months. He was in the hospital, frozen. And I didn't know him, but I inherited that. That's what's up for me. I'm just trying to integrate all that. Yikes.
Yeah, that's looking at that larger transmission of energy. And our neighbor just wrote a little book. It's called Little Avalanches that I would encourage you to look at. She talks about her childhood and the estranged relationship with her father, who was a World War II vet. The middle part of the book, it's a retelling of 187 days of the most horrific. I think it would resonate with what your father experienced, probably, Michael. And then the last third is them coming together. And it's quite an interesting book because I'm really reminded, what was that like? And he had a 300% casualty rate in his, which means he and one other guy, people came and everybody died over and over again, except for him and one other person.
Oh, jeez.
What did that do? And how did that you?
It's
and
trippy. Sorry.
No.
It's trippy for me because I didn't know my father. I got this story from his brother, right? He never told me that. And I like spent one evening with him my whole life. So this is all genetic material I'm working on. It's very trippy.
Yeah, but that's another level of our existence. It's all there on that energetic level.
How could
and
not
that's
be?
a part of myself that I have to bring in and embrace and into the garden and offer healing.
And find out what's yours and what's his too. And allow his to have the healing of the light also. But it's accepting it all, it's first recognizing it. Beautiful. Wow.
So I want to give you a heads up while I'm thinking of it, that there will be one Monday in April after the 8th, the 15th, where we will not be doing this because we will be in Europe, and it's going to be a little hard for us to.
We're not going to do a 3 a.m. Or I don't know. We're not going to do a cell work at the middle.
No, it would be 5:30, but we're going to be in the middle of dinner.
Oh, we'll be in the middle of dinner. Yeah.
We've got we're part of a group, so we don't have as much flexibility to shift. But that will be the one that we will miss, is the 15th
of April. Well, thank you all.
Yes.
Yeah. And our unity and diversity here.
Yeah. So let's all unmute if we can right before we leave, and just do another shout out of
a syllable of your name.
Yeah, another syllable of your name in a different way. It can be inverted. It doesn't matter. It's however you want to express that that you-ness today. So 1, 2, 3. Goodbye.
Bye.
Nice to have you in my hive.